Greetings, Air Acolytes, and welcome back to Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast. I am Jason Roy Gaston, and the man to my side, the great VHS Jase of the Talking Tubi show, which is fantastic, and you should watch it. We are
Thank
here to
you.
talk about the penultimate episode of season 1 of the Legend of Korra. It is called Skeletons in the Closet. I think that was Jacques from the Beetlejuice animated series. He was a skeleton and he was in the closet.
Oh, there you go.
I'm
Before
just
we start this talking about this episode, I want to call a bit of BS on this show. For the last week, I've been trying my hardest to master fart bending. I just can't do it. And I'm eating everything I can to help produce the fuel I need, but I can't control it. Sometimes they peel skin off faces, sometimes they don't.
well, the simplest explanation for that is just you're no Milo.
Ah, that's
You have to be a Milo to master fart
it's a
bending.
tough reality I have to, just have to respect, don't I? That Milo is he's higher in the evolutionary scale.
Yes, he is. And right now, also setting high on things is Amon, who has taken over Republic City with the help of his very rich friend, I'm sorry, I mean Hoshi Sato. Not Hoshi Sato. She's the one from Star Trek Enterprise. It was
Can I just shout out to the moment of the guys who got that job? Oh, yeah, by the way, and you two, build a giant mask and put it over the statue.
you know that they had been planning that for months. They had it in a warehouse ready to go. There were like 3 people there, and all of a sudden they get a phone call saying, "Hello, it's time! Go, 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 go!" How do we get it up there? We haven't thought about it. Just go. Okay, so anyway, Amon is taken over, and he's put his face over Aang's statue with one. Okay, first of all, rude. Secondly, kind of awesome that he's got that kind of thing going. Korra and her friends are laying low down in the hobos domain. They have been welcomed by the hobo we met in the first episode, which I thought that was really fun.
It was fun, and he's a cool character.
This nothing character who we met in the first episode ends up being the guy that saves their bacon. And whenever he's reintroduced, at first I was like, who is that? Oh, they had a reason. Because he disappeared, remember? He was in the tunnels.
That's a callback.
So he shares food with them, and that brings us to the cursed screenshot of this episode. I know already. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, no.
That was after the description of what they were. Did she like it and then found out what it was?
Yeah, she found out what it was, and this is me every time they attempted to further the story of the love triangle. Just don't. Please don't. Oh, this is out of order. Sorry.
No, that wasn't out of order, according to you.
It is not out of order. Oh my gosh, they got all my slides out of order.
Right.
What in the heck? Okay, so okay. So anyway, Amon is burning his way through the benders of Republic City. He's got a assembly line going here, or rather a disassembly line. And they are coming up, and he's just like taking their bending ways, like boom, gone, boom, gone, boom, gone. And even at one point, he just looks, he goes, next. And it's like, how long have you been doing this? A couple of hours? It's messed up.
There are people in the back along. How long have you been here? Like 4.5 hours. Like,
oh my gosh, I wish he was a time bender. This is some BS. A good continuity there is you got 2 members of the White Lotus from Air Temple Island, which I was just like, oh, poor guys.
Poor guys.
Yeah, Amon.
I knew they were cannon fodder. They knew it.
Amon sucks. General Iroh has made it to Republic City just in time to get his entire fleet attacked and sunk by these really cool biplanes that Sato has created.
Of course, it is so consistent in the world that they've built that we would have biplanes, Jason. It's the time that they're kind of the industrialization, and the fact if you've got airships, biplanes would absolutely be part of that.
I love the design of these things. I love how that they are familiar, but at the same time, the more you look at them, the more you realize how different they are, because it's got its propellers on backwards from one of our biplanes.
It does, and it
It's got
has
him in the
giant
back.
missiles attached to the wings, which
Yeah,
is
and I just love it. I love the aesthetic of this series. I think it's great. We get a really cool scene of General Iroh firebending to show us, yes, he really is Zuko's grandson,
oh,
and
you are.
it's not enough. He is basically blown out of the water at one point, and
Oh, it's Pearl Harbor at one point on this thing.
yeah,
They were shredding the ships.
there is a very big Pearl Harbor
Yeah,
comparison here to be made, and it is definitely not accidental.
no.
But Iroh is rescued. I'm assuming he's one of the only survivors, and he has the hobo send a message to one of his most trusted fellow generals, General Boomy,
I know,
who
George
is
moment.
yeah, who is Aang's son, who we have not met yet.
A
Boomy's
bit of a
coming.
wild man, apparently.
Bit of a wild man. Yes, apparently they named him after the right guy. I think the real Boomy, by the way, is still alive by this point. I think he's still alive. He's still sitting on his throne going, I'm bored.
I
200
can't wait
years
to
old. I'm
meet this
bored as
Boomy.
hell.
I can't wait. We're going to meet another offspring of Aang. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's cool. We get to meet all three of Aang's children eventually, and it's neat what they do. It's basically the last Jedi of Airbender because we get an after the fact deconstruction of a hero. And
Mm.
I really like that because at one point they're like, "No, he's gone. He's our dad. We have to respect who he was." Yeah, but who he was really flawed as a father. And the way they approach it, I really respect it
Yeah,
because they
brave
they kind
too.
of bring that generational trauma into it because not all of them are airbenders.
Hmm.
Actually,
I think it's such a smart way to go too, because it's a brave thing. Because you basically say to the audience, "Oh, that hero that you idolize and we all love did grow up to be perfect." Sorry
yeah,
to shatter your fairy tale,
yeah.
but
Well, Aang wasn't perfect. Aang could be
no,
kind
he
of petty
wasn't.
sometimes.
Well,
And
yeah,
whenever they
irresponsible.
say, yeah, dad favored you because you were an airbender and we weren't. I'm like, yeah,
I could
that
see that.
honestly does sound like something Aang
Yeah,
would do.
yeah, I
And
agree.
whenever
I could
you
see that.
whenever you find out about Kaya and Boomy, you're just like, yeah, I understand why you two are the way you are. I understand why you're kind of screwed
That's
up.
so cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Where were we? Oh yes. So Korra and uh, Mako go undercover to basically go see if they can find any prisoners, see what they can do to mess things up. And inside they meet Tarlock, and Tarlock's like, "Buckle up, kids. It's time for an information dump."
Yeah, it's good. Exposition.
Yeah, I'm gonna be perfectly honest here. I don't mind the content of this episode. I do mind the positioning of it in the season, and I do mind the way it's presented because it is an information dump. Because as soon as they find Tarlock, he's like, "Hello, Cora. Amon is my brother." Oh, we didn't ask. We were raised together at the North Pole. He's talking. Why is he talking? We were both taught bloodbending. My father was also Yukon. Jesus Christ, can we shut him up, please? And it's just like
Yeah.
he's like a tape machine. As soon as they walk in, somebody presses play and it's on autopilot. Um,
Do you think that is because of the change in lengthening the season and stuff?
I can only imagine it was that they had to make some concessions here. So I don't know if they're expanding the plot or what. But yeah, this was a very clumsy information dump.
It's a
Um,
very also disturbing and uncomfortable story they tell in
It
that dump,
really is, and I don't mind the information. The information
No,
is
it's
good. It's just the way that it's done, and that's another problem I have with this episode is that after last week's episode, this one seems like it breaks the momentum. It's like we're going to stop and catch our breath. No, don't do that. Don't stop and catch your breath. Things are going at a great
yeah,
clip, and now you're just going to make it all come to a stop almost.
yeah.
Come to a stop so that Tarlock can tell us his life story. Thanks.
Mm.
Great. Awesome. So yeah, we find out that Amon is actually a waterbender. He's lying to everybody. He's a waterbender and he's a bloodbender, and he's using his blood bending to take away people's bending powers.
Yeah.
And he was raised by the bloodbender that Aang took the powers away from, Yakone, and they were raised in the Northern Water Tribe. And Yakone, who by this point had taken on a new identity, gotten a new face and everything, is trying to teach them his method of bloodbending because they're going to be the tools of his revenge.
Yeah.
But he is also very cruel and very abusive. And at one point, he has the boys bloodbend each other. And
that didn't bother me. It was the animals that bothered the absolute.
The animals were rough. And that was another inconsistency I saw with this episode, is that Tarlok says, "Oh, back then my brother was still concerned with things being equal. He wanted everything to be equal." But then they talk about how he enjoyed like torturing animals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did he really want things equal? I mean, I know Amon is a gigantic hypocrite already, because he's talking about how everybody should be equalized, but he's secretly a bender. So yeah, he's basically a big phony and a hypocrite. But at the same time, I'm just like, can we get a little consistency with the character also?
You know what is cool though? I liked about the information they gave us. They, from my opinion, they made the most unassuming tribe of people to actually be the bed for the most dangerous benders. Because waterbenders seem like nice people, right? They're the good guys, they're harmless, but you have to be a waterbender to be a bloodbender because it's all about liquid. So it's kind of messed up and cool.
And you know, airbenders can become dangerous, because we're going to find that out in a later season. How dangerous an airbender can be.
Interesting.
So yeah, they do some really cool stuff with the lore in this series. This series honestly doesn't get enough credit for doing that. But anyway, Yakone takes the boys out and has them bloodbend each other. And when Tarlok won't do it to his brother, Yakone's about to just like smack him. And I cannot remember what Amon's real name is, so I'm just going to call him Amon. Amon steps up and bloodbends their dad and says, "What are you going to do? You're weak. You're the weak link." And I'm just like, that is super cold.
Super cold, and
he's got a point.
Deserved. And he's got a point. It's deserved, because he's clearly been abusing his kid for years. And yeah, he doesn't have any powers, mate. He doesn't have any powers.
No, he doesn't. It's just basically this is somebody who's finally seen through the illusion of authority. And he's just like, I have the power in this relationship, not you.
Yeah.
And he decides he's going to take off, and Tarlok is, of course, asking his brother not to leave, but his brother walks off into the snowstorm anyway. He reveals that Yakone died a couple of years later. His mother was never the same, and he became obsessed with getting revenge, because that's what's apparently driving Tarlok now, also, is revenge. But there's something I thought was really cool in this scene, is that once Tarlok's mission for revenge is over and he cannot have it, he apologizes to Korra and says, "I'm sorry for everything I did to you." And I thought, and then he's like, "No, don't let me out. Nobody can know you talked to me. Nobody can know that I told you all this stuff. Leave me here." So it's genuine. He's not trying to use her to escape. He's genuinely sorry for what he did. And I thought that is a really neat narrative choice that they didn't linger on. But they're showing a man who's full of regret. And
it's also an odd way to end the episode, because it feels like it's cut halfway through a scene, because they just walk away.
I feel like this was supposed to be a two-parter, to be honest.
Yeah, they just walk away, and I'm like, okay, like, we've got this really critical information. Yeah, it definitely feels like we're halfway through an episode with this one.
Yeah, and I did like that they just end it with, we got to take them on down. Well, duh. We know that already. We're gonna take them on down. Captain Obvious.
Yeah, I will say it was very hard. I'm swearing, my kids, my wife, everybody I've ever loved, I've never skipped ahead, and this was the first time that I actually felt really challenged, because it's so set up to the next scene, but I haven't. And man, as I say every week, I cannot wait to finish filming this, because I need to know what happens next.
Yep, and pretty satisfying finale. It's equal parts exciting, equal parts rewarding, and equal parts tragic. So I'm actually going to go watch it as soon as we're done with this too, because I want to go relive that. Because I honestly think that this has got. I think that the ending of this episode with how they resolve the fate of Amon and Tarlock is so well written. It's honestly doesn't get the credit it deserves. We'll talk about that more next.
Yeah, I will say, barring that the next episode is as good as you say it is, I think you probably made me feel like I actually feel like this season was better than the expectations that you kind of built me up for. Like, I thought you were like, look, it's no Avatar. It's not. But barring those 2 rocky episodes, this has been a really good first season, I think. I've actually, now, as soon as they got away from Tron and we're kind of done with the love triangle, the show, this, for me, every episode's gone from strength to strength or been on the same high bar level at least.
Yeah, this is one of those episodes. This is one of those series that did something new, which is what the fans are always asking for. But whenever it wasn't exactly like the old series, the fans got mad. So whenever a fan group says they want something new, they're always lying. And it never fails. It's like, we want something new. Oh, here's something new. Oh, no, not like that. Yeah. That's basically what they are. And there are people who are still salty about Korra. There are some people who, whenever they announced Seven Havens and said that Korra does something that affects the world, people are going, yeah, we knew that dumb girl would end up destroying the world. 15 years and we were right. And I'm like, you haven't even seen the episode yet. The series hasn't even premiered. What the heck are you talking about?
I don't know. That's just negative energy all the way, isn't it? I mean, maybe it's because I've condensed all the shows in a very kind of short period of time that, I don't know, I'm very on board for this. I've actually really have learned to appreciate the freshness of this show.
It is.
And I think it's
a unique take. It's great.
It is absolutely an extension of the story we got before. But yeah, it's just from a different perspective. The only thing I would say, I'm not exactly always in love with the Clone Wars intros, but that's just taste.
Quite honestly, I like them because to me it fits in with the time period, this quasi 1920s, 1930s. It fits, and so I'm just like, yeah, I like this. This is cool.
Yeah, I live with it because I know in 10, 15 seconds we're into the episode. And hey, look, if you are watching it week to week, this will probably be necessary because this isn't a simplistic story. You need to sometimes reestablish story points because it's a fairly complex thing they're trying to attempt here.
Yes, absolutely. And well, that's it for this episode.
Can't believe we almost said that's it. Season 1,
season finale. Crazy. Season finale next week. But yeah, join us next week. We're going to put a bow on season 1 of Korra, and then the week after that, we're going to dive right into season 2 because that is the kind of consistency you expect from us.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen. If you would be so kind, please check out the video description below where you will find a link to our Patreon for as little as $5 a month or more. Thank you for throwing that up. I was looking for that picture. For as little as $5 a month or more, you can become a Patreon, or you can spend $5 and become a YouTube channel member. In any case, you get videos early, you get exclusive videos, and all kinds of fun like this. That's what it feels like to be a Patreon, is just screaming and fun and lightning. And I'm going to play that again because I love this game.
It's that fine line between agony and ecstasy, guys.
That's absolutely. That is what it's like to be in our presence. So if you do, please join us on Patreon. Become a YouTube channel member. We love you. We want your money.
We do.
And that is it. Be sure to join us next time for another exciting episode of Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast.